Okay, we're joined here with Wade Pierce, and Wade, welcome.
Well, thank you. Looking
Yeah,
forward to the chat.
yeah. So there's been much ado about last week, Roy withdrawing after one round, and we can call it 1.5 rounds. There's been talk about his tooth, about him not being in a mental state, about his girlfriend, Wozniacki. With all this going on, what do you make of the whole mental game of competition and quitting? What is that to you?
Well, to me, it's an incremental thing. See, I think he even mentioned it. There's an undercurrent to his entire conversation, and not necessarily that we need to highlight Rory as like the big demon right now because he quit, but it's an incremental thing. Little things were building over time that led to that big emotional release of he just shutting her down, tossing his clubs in the bag and walking off. But what I think is more important than say whether that Rory quit or not is the things that lead up to it, that get to the moment where you do officially quit. Let's say we are all quitting incrementally in small little ways along the way when we golf, whether we're giving up on a shot, we're not focusing on the next one, or we're thinking about the last shot and we have another bad one, then we're mad at ourselves, and then we start beating ourselves up, and we maybe have some self-talk that isn't very resourceful, that are saying we suck, or we're not playing that good, and that is actually leading to a quit, because what you're saying about all that stuff within is that I'm not committed, I'm not going to work on what I've been working on, I'm not going to deal with the fact that I'm hitting some bad shots, and I'm still going to focus on scoring, getting the ball in the hole. That the small quits are really the danger, and I see it happen a lot more in junior golfers now. They tend to get really frustrated because their expectations are so high, and they quit within. You can see it as they play. They may not have walked off the course, but they quit basically on the eighth hole.
They want or need or expect of themselves that immediate gratification of scoring. If you're a junior, probably in the 80s. If you're a professional or a low handicapper, 60s and 70s. They need that immediate gratification. And with Rory's $200 million Nike deal,
Yeah.
he probably expects that on himself, to have that. I need to be in the top 10 each and every week that I play because they're paying me as if I need to be in the top 10 each and every time I play.
You said that's a perfect conversation, because the pressure to be number one, he's been there before, he says, but still you want to back it up and to make sure you get the top tens or win or play at a high level. So that self-imposed pressure on himself adversely affected his performance, and he said it clearly. And where he found the light, he said in his win last year at the U.S. Open when he was talking to Dave Stockton, and Dave Stockton said, "You need to smile more. You need to have some fun. Have fun on the golf course. Smile, enjoy." And when he did, he was enjoying that day, and he wins by 8 at a major, because that's his style. Whereas Tiger's different. Tiger's intense. He doesn't walk around smiling. That doesn't work for him. He tried it and it didn't work. He's more of a intense, hyper narrowed focus. But Rory, I think, has found the sweet spot for himself, and that's not pressure. No sense adding pressure. That it really makes it difficult to perform for most of us. That's just too much pressure, and I can imagine for him trying to live up
Yeah,
to
and
it.
let's look at another golfer. One that's always fun to watch is Lefty. You look at him, he could be leading or he could be having a not so good day, but he's always got that smile on his face.
Yeah.
Because I think he realizes that he's getting paid handsomely to play a game that he loves. It's enjoyment.
Absolutely, that's so true, and I think he got that early. Plus, he's a sponsor's dream because he's very, adamant about things that work. He's very, he voices his satisfaction in things about gear, so he knows how to satisfy sponsors. And he does always smile, and that I think that helps him freewheel. So for those of you out there, we always practice. We're putting in everything into our game. We have expectations. Well, we all do at every level. We always want to play to our potential. But golf doesn't allow us to do that every day. There's something about it, obviously, because if you could shoot your best score every day, you'd be getting better every day. No one does that. So you're never going to shoot your best score every day. So you have to be more content with just enjoying the process of playing for those times when you're on, and when you're on, you go for it, right? You're in attack mode. But I think, Rory's right. You got to enjoy it. It is a game, and have some fun, because really, isn't that what it's all about?
Right. One last thing specifically related to the competition and quitting is, I mean, I just remember from my junior days when it was tournament time. Heck, I could even just be playing with a buddy. My goal was to get out there and win the match, right, or win the round, shoot the best. And my competitive juices are so amped up that it really doesn't matter if the wind's blowing, there's a toothache, there's the sky is gray or blue. I am just so focused on that match. So in a case where you're a professional athlete, I have no experience with that, but if in the professional setting, I would imagine your competitive juices, are even more amplified on that. So how can, or even at an amateur level, high level amateur, super amped up. So how can those little grievances really infiltrate your mind and distract you from your task at hand?
Well, I think that is I'm a big believer in preparation and a long-term strategy around that. If you're a competitive player, you're probably going to compete more than once. You're going to notice the pattern that you play your best in. And I would actually recommend anyone listening to this and watching this to take notes on the rounds you play good, whether competing or not. Make a note. What do you think stood out and that allowed you to play so well? You will know. It won't be like you're not sure, and it won't only be about your swing. You'll notice something, the way you feel, the way you walked, your mannerisms, the way you approach the ball, little things like that build that success flow for you. Now, when you start modeling that and you go, okay, there is a pattern. That's very different than when I hurry to the ball, I don't plan, and I make short swings or whatever. You'll see the pattern and the contrast between when you play well and when you don't. You need to be very aware of that, not just angry or happy about it, right? You need to be conscious of the distinctions between them. Then when you're competing, what you do is you create that in advance. You go, I already know how I play well. So instead of getting too amped up, which actually could hurt me, right? Everyone's different. You need to find that barometer. That's why I say take notes of when you play your best and have those installed in your brain. So when you go and compete, the only thing you're looking to do is reproduce that feeling. Just walk into the course, step to the shot. Even if you have a bad hole, doesn't matter. Your goal is to get to that feeling. Then you'll play your best. That's really the art of performing. So it's not pressure. You have a plan. You're not going there wondering if you're going to play good. Oh, I couldn't pull it off, and I got distracted. Someone yelled on my backswing, and everything just gets you, right? Yeah. So it's more you actually have a plan, and then one based on joy.
And when you have a plan, you really kind of lose that nervous stomach or the nervousness, because it's more confidence. It's, I know this hole. I've played it like this before. I can make this shot. And then it's not so much will I, or can I, it's more I'm going to.
Yes. And then also that is, you're going to hit bad shots. This idea that everything's supposed to be perfect puts another level of pressure. And if you're always trying to live up to this heightened sense of skill, which is unrealistic for anyone, look at the high level. Remember, you're watching the leaders. When you watch golf, you're seeing the leaders, not the guy in 100th. You're not seeing the real shots that are happening for 90% of the field. You're seeing the good ones, and the good ones are still bad. But we notice that left, right, bunker. So we're just players, and we got to reevaluate the expectation we have on excellence and go that golf is not a game of perfect, as Rotella said. It's about having fun and not having pressure, so you don't quit within, and you stay present in the fun of the game itself.
I mean, my big takeaway from talking with you these last 5+ minutes, is have fun, smile. I mean, this is not life or death. This is enjoyment. It's an escape to get away from problems. It's kind of like your little reprieve from everything else. So it's like a mental break. Have fun, enjoy yourself.
I totally agree, because that's when your best. Most of us, if you look back at your best rounds, the best rounds came when you were usually having fun. Were you like intense and your eyes squinting for 4.5 hours and you played your best? Rarely. It's usually you're loose, casual, with some friends, and everything's kind of fun. That is, you can duplicate that. Doesn't matter the context. It's your ability to get back to that place habitually that lets you play your best, in my experience.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Wade. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for your insight.
Sure.
any questions or comments, just post them below or send me an email, and I'll get back to you. I'm
Sure.
Jay, and that's Wade.
See ya.
Bye.